Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Come Get a Sip, the podcast where we talk about all things culture, entertainment, music, TV, all of that. Thank you for joining us for our very special holiday music extravaganza episode featuring two very special guests. They are the host of the Pen Pop podcast, which explores two music connoisseurs with a love for pop music culture, ready to dissect and analyze classic pop songs into their own proper interpretations with no English degree, but a whole lot of outrageous hot takes. Please welcome my friends, Dante and Ari.
Thank
Hello.
you.
Hello.
How are y'all doing? How's it going? How's the holiday season?
It's
I'm
great.
good. Thanks for having us. I'm feeling festive. I'm ready to continue the festivities.
Yes, so happy to have you both on the podcast. So, before we get into the holiday music of it all, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite songs. We're talking about the history of holiday music, the impact of, if you're watching on YouTube, this lady right here, Mariah Carey. Let us start with checking in. This is a roundup segment where we basically just talk about all of the biggest or some of the biggest topics of the week. So for this week, as we head into the end of 2023, the box office and the movies are a big topic right now. Obviously, Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, also The Color Purple, Fantasia, Taraji, all of them. Very excited for that. Anyone But You. I don't know if there are any Glenn Powell or Sydney Sweeney fans listening right now. I'm not sure if that's my target audience. But if you're here, hello. And then next year, we got some movies like Mean Girls, Bad Boys 4, Wicked. So Dante and Ari, what movies, I know the first one I'm going to hear, but what movies are y'all most excited for that are coming up?
For me, like you said, Renaissance is already, I'm planning on buying 2 more tickets to following shows because I know that I'm going to love it. I just know it. But the one I'm actually really excited for is The Color Purple. Holly, Fantasia. You said Taraji too? I didn't know Taraji was on it.
Yeah.
Well, more of the reasons to go. But I really want to see what Holly does outside of the Disney extravaganza. But yeah, those are the ones I'm looking really forward to.
Like you said, you got us. Renaissance, we have our tickets. I'm going multiple times. I'm currently repairing my disco hat because she needs I DIY'd it because I'm not paying those Etsy prices, guys. So she needs some repairing because I'm getting my opulence look together for the Renaissance film. And we have fingers crossed that hopefully KNTY4 News will make an appearance. I don't know. So I will be watching.
That would be amazing.
I don't know,
do you want to explain for the listeners who are living under a rock and do not know about KNTY News?
Well, it's a little series we may have started where basically we documented the entire tour, the whole Renaissance World Tour, and each date we were basically reporting as KNTY4 News reporters. As we know, she also does in the mind control section of the show during America Has a Problem. So it's just something we did off the fly and it took off. And multiple people have seen it. So I don't know. She's mother's always watching, so we don't know what's gonna happen.
I hope she watched it.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, people have been posting it. Publications have been posting about it. So it was a very big moment. Always love watching y'all's videos. Very entertaining.
Thanks.
Remind me over y'all names on the videos. I remember Blue Buzzington.
I'm Renee Thick.
Renee Thick and Blue Buzzington. Yes.
I'm Blue Buzzington. But yeah, so Renaissance for sure. And then I'm also excited to see The Color Purple too as well. Like echoing what Ari said. Excited to see Holly, excited to see Fantasia. I was just listening to her Christmas album, actually. Really underrated. I love it.
So.
And I'm also really excited to see Wicked because I'm excited to see, I've actually never seen Wicked. So I'm excited to see it in movie form with Ariana and Cynthia.
Yeah, actually, I don't know what Wicked is about.
And it's 2 parts.
Oh.
I don't
2 parts?
I don't think it's till next year. But they're filming both parts now.
Oh, okay.
So I'm interested to see.
Yeah, that's very exciting. So much coming up so much coming up to be excited about. So we're all looking forward to all of that. Renaissance, we will see y'all. in a couple days in the theater fighting over posters. I'm going to be there super early, which will probably be very hard for me, but we'll see how that goes. Also in the news recently, celebrity memoirs have been a big topic this fall. We have had some high-profile releases from Britney Spears and Jada Pinkett Smith in particular. Obviously, a lot of revelations in each of those memoirs, a lot to discuss. But Dante and Ari, how do you feel about just in terms of those memoirs, but also just the broader topic of celebrity memoirs? What do you think are some of the big takeaways that we should take from those memoirs, especially when, you know, they become so sensationalized, people try to focus on like the dirt, you know? What do you feel we should be taking away from these moments?
I really dove into Britney's memoir because I'm actually, obviously, I grew up with her, but I wasn't super familiar with her whole catalog. So, like you said, you know, I kind of knew when a memoir was going to come out, seeing from what was making the headlines when Mariah's memoir came out. Really, I just try to appreciate the art itself and what they did. I'm always looking for the stories behind those iconic songs like Hit Me Baby One More Time or Toxic. And I think one of the biggest takeaways I took away from Britney's memoir is really, and Jada as well, is to really just make sure that you have good people in your circle that have your back. And not only that, what I took away was you need to really make sure that you have your control over your life. I think when so many things happen to us and there's lots of different distractions out there, we kind of want to avoid things. But I know, and I know I do that sometimes, but really I have to remind myself that I don't want to be put into these situations and I want to make sure that I am in full control of my life and take it step by step each day to just be where I want to be.
Also, like the main takeaway from the artist's perspective that I understand it as is like what they're putting out, that's what maybe they want us to hear. So, you know, I feel like, especially with the Britney, it's just the tabloids or social media just wants the quickest story to get, you know, a reading or whatever, like clicks. And I think when they took the time to write these stories that's probably what they wanted us to hear. So, for example, when Britney talked about her whole, you know, discography or behind the scenes, same with Mariah. Like I know for me, when I listen to Mariah, like I'll say a little moment here. Butterfly was not one of my, like when I first listened, was not one of my favorites.
Ooh.
I know. Listen. I know. Walk with me. It was not, everybody was hating it. And I was like, it's not my favorite because I have music box. Like I just, you know, Charm Bracelet, one of my favorites. I'm sorry. It's just, it's not topped. But then when I listened to her book, her memoir, her talking about it, describing the scenes, I couldn't help but when I listen again, feel back in that story, Mariah's struggle. And now it's my most played album, Butterfly Supreme.
I told him he would come around because I had the exact same reaction. I was like, now,
yeah. And I think it was just not understanding the story. That's really what it was. So when you're when you're writing this book and you're now telling me a story that I can personalize with the music, that's really what connects me to all these memoirs, to make your story more personable. And that's what I think now we're lacking. Artists are not personable. They're not like, you're not tangible. You can't touch them. You can't feel them. But when they write the stories and you read their struggles, you're like, wow, that's what they went through. So you make your art more lovable, I guess, for me.
And also like seeing those messages in their work as well. As I know, after I read Britney's memoir, I went into her whole discography, and now I'm kind of in a Britney phase right now. And I'm seeing the different signs and different messages that she was putting out that she fully explored in her book. And I'm just happy that her and Jada, you know, they've overcome a lot of struggles and hopefully they're living their best lives now.
I was just really happy that Britney was able to tell her story in her own words, because like so much of what we have known about her has been through the eyes of the tabloids or other people speaking about it. So just hearing her be able to tell her story uninterrupted was really beautiful. I personally kind of tuned out of Jada's just because, like, for me, like with a celebrity memoir, it's like, do I want to know more about you? Like, do I want to know like the stories behind your music, the stories behind your struggles? And I think sometimes with memoirs, I don't. You know, I don't say that from a place of like lack of compassion or anything. I say it more from a place of, I feel like sometimes the aura around memoirs, certain memoirs, can lean into like the sensational side of things more. Like here's like, oh, revelation about like, Tupac having alopecia.
It's just not what we want to hear right now. You know what I mean?
It's just like every day on Twitter of like,
Right, exactly. Still, love Jada, love Will, love everybody. I was really excited to hear Brittany's story. I'm really grateful to her for opening up and sharing that. So yeah, that is it for this week's checking in segment. If you have any topics that you want us to talk about in the future, feel free to hit us up on socials at Come Get a Sip. Just drop us a line and let us know what you want us to talk about. Okay, now we can get into the main reason we are here, which is holiday music. This is our Come Get a Sip holiday music extravaganza. Welcome. The holidays and holiday music are very personal to a lot of people. They carry a lot of sentimental value, a lot of emotion tied up into all of it. So before we dive into anything, I want to ask each one of you, what does holiday music mean to you personally?
I come from Cuba, so we don't really celebrate Christmas. As I grew up, I wasn't really involved with the Christmas spirit. But when I got here, like school-wise, we went to a Catholic school, me and Dane. So we kind of exposed to it all the time. And Christmas was a very big thing. And as I grew here, I was more involved with it. But I would have to say, like, Dante really was the one that inspired more Christmas in me, because he's the only person that I know that celebrates Christmas accurately. My family still doesn't. I'm gotten more into the spirit, as you can see. And I always have to say Mariah too. Like, come on. Like I said, when I got into her discography, Christmas just, come on. But now I would say that now I'm more into the Christmas spirit. As when I was younger, I wasn't really as involved in it. But to me, Christmas music, it just feels gospel. It feels a reunion with God, even though sometimes it's not about God at all. But when you hear true, authentic, like, talking about Christmas music, like Whitney's album, like the stories, it just reminds me of church, reminds me of grandma's peppermint in the bag, like Victoria Monet said, with the grandma with the peppermint. It just reminds me of like a joyful spirit. It's a spirit of, happiness and community. It's just a feeling you can't really explain.
That's exactly what it is. Like, it's a feeling I can't describe. I don't know. I've always had the Christmas spirit growing up, even though even my family is not necessarily that much into Christmas. Like, everybody rolls their eyes. And I think that's why I relate to Mariah so much, is because I have this love for the holidays and I just want to celebrate it and be festive. And everybody's hating on it all the time. Like, I'm November 1st, the tree goes up, the music goes on, and like people look at me like, like crazy. Really? And I'm like, and what about it? Like, I'm happy, and it makes me feel good. And honestly, especially now when I'm in school, like, it is my lifeline. Like, it is the only thing I look forward to. And like Ari was saying, it's the nostalgia, it's the spirit. I think it's a time where everybody comes together. And I think also the familiarity of it, I think, gives comfort to me and other people, because you do the same traditions every year. It's the same kind of colors. And so, yes, I try to push the Christmas spirit like Mariah, and I think I've pushed it a little bit too much to Ari, and that's okay, because I need people to share the festivities of it all with me.
For me, biggest thing, starting at least, was family. Just hearing these songs every year, sort of connecting them to, like, those traditions with family, gathering for like Christmas dinner, like going to church on Christmas Eve. But I think as like time progressed, it sort of became really just this reminder of joy and the importance of joy. My grandmother had passed away like 3 days before Christmas back in 2014. And, Christmases after that were still festive in some part, but they were also sadder for my family in large part. So for me, Christmas music was really a way to recapture the joy in a way that honors the sensitivity of the time, the holiday season, and that also brings around joy at the end of the year, at a time when I feel like we all really need it. Time goes back an hour, and it gets dark early, it's cold, the weather's miserable. Holiday music, I feel, is a great transition into winter, at least until December 25th. We can have like that festive spirit to keep us warm inside as it's getting colder outside. Christmas music really, for me, is just about like the persistence of joy. So talking about Christmas music in particular, traditionally, holiday music, holiday songs, and albums have been a staple in a lot of artists' discography. We've seen so many artists, like those greats from like the 60s, 70s, 80s, who have Christmas albums, like Patti LaBelle, Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, the Jackson 5, Gladys Knight and the Pips, so many of them.
Yeah.
But it's often something, not always, but often something that happens in later stages of an artist's career. You know, it's like that. Like you would say, Dante, that one chance to, you know, have like a big boost in sales, a big boost in popularity annually. But we saw a shift in that around 1994 when Mariah Carey, off the heels of her mega album, Music Box Diamond Certified, we saw her release a Christmas album. Well, we didn't. I don't think any of us were alive at the time,
No.
but the world saw it. Huge moment in music because you have this artist who is at like the peak of their career. At that point, you know, nobody knew what was to come after that. All the peaks that were to come, really dedicating themselves to creating a Christmas album and to creating a Christmas album that is true to them, that has original songs written by them, because let us never forget Mariah, the songwriter. But it was really just a huge moment, and a moment that only became bigger as the years went on. It's not often that we have an artist write a Christmas song that becomes not just a staple, but the ultimate staple. You know, that's something we really don't see ever.
Wow.
And we've seen the impact of that in the later years with like Ariana Grande releasing Christmas projects early into her career. Christmas has become like an empire almost. And so as our resident pop music experts, Dante and Ari, what are some of the factors that you think made All I Want for Christmas Is You and continue to make it the holiday staple that it is?
Mariah says it all the time, like it wasn't really like something she did to be successful. It's just something that happened. She loves the Christmas season. So for her, it's just something that happened natural. And honestly, when it's natural, that's the best type of success, because her ability to just, like you said, songwrite with a kid's piano, and this is what happens 29 years later. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like that level of mastery, I guess you could say, it's like you don't see it anymore. So, and you were saying before, Christmas has become now the what did you say? Sorry,
Empire
that everyone wants to tap into, because everyone think that they're going to have the Mariah success. But I don't think Mariah approached it from this is my next move. I think she approached it from I love Christmas. Let me do an album that talks about Christmas. This is what she wanted to do. It's not something that had to do. That's the difference. The girls now, well, the girls and boys, I hate saying girls all the time, but because mostly it's female dominated, at least the ones that matter. But the people now are just doing it as they feel that they have to do it. You know what I mean? It's not like I want to do this because it's Christmas. No, you want to have the success Mariah had, but I don't think that's how Mariah intended it to be.
I agree. I think it's her genuine love of Christmas, because she is somebody that relied on the holidays to get that joy and tradition and routine and like security, a lot of different things. And so I think she really went into it with a genuine love for Christmas. And I also think combined with her pen, I mean, I actually did a video essay on why Mariah Carey is the queen of Christmas. It's on YouTube if you want to go watch it. And in my research, I found that, you know, between after World War II, in like the 60s, 70s, 80s, there was basically like not really much blockbuster Christmas music that people cared about, because everyone was kind of just tired of it. You know, they didn't need to rely on Christmas for joy in times of war. They had more discretionary income. And so when Mariah came along, an artist in their prime, and again, we're used to seeing veteran artists do Christmas albums, you know, she incorporated different things into the song, her gospel roots, her impeccable vocals, her pen, and as well, I found different melodies and stuff, such as like she wrote the song on a kid's piano, I believe, in 20 minutes. So it has that childlike quality to it, but it's a song about love, and it's also in a pop context with gospel vocals. So there's really something for everyone. And of course, she's describing all the Christmas imagery, the snow, the stockings, the fireplace, the mistletoe. So really there's something for everyone to get out of the song. And so I think that's why it has such a universal appeal. And as well, it has a certain song structure. I read it was basically the same melody that's used in other famous Christmas songs, such as Santa Claus Coming to Town, Frosty the Snowman, stuff like that. So I think really it's all these different factors. She has really become our new matriarch of Christmas. Like Santa Claus is out, he tanked.
Yeah.
Mariah is in. Everyone sees her as the resident mascot of Christmas now, and I think that's so special, especially with that song becoming basically the crown jewel of Christmas.
Absolutely. You know, it is the crown jewel of Christmas. And it really has led the charge in Christmas music becoming, you know, the massive thing that it is today. We saw the charting rules change last decade to allow the Christmas songs to re-enter the Hot 100. And every year since, we've seen the songs slowly climb higher and higher up the charts, led by All I Want for Christmas Is You, and eventually hitting a peak when it hit number one in 2019. It became Mariah's 19th number one song. Not everybody has that. No solo artist has that to their credit besides her. And, you know, in the years since, we've seen other songs sort of catch up as best as they can, even to the point where during the week of Christmas, most of the top 10 is occupied by Christmas songs. And so it's been interesting to see sort of how, as generally the popularity of music has decreased with just the oversaturation of the market, Christmas music is like the one industry where it just continues to grow and grow. The streams get bigger, the sales continue to grow, radio, you know, everything is just, especially carried by streaming though, Christmas music is going against the trend of music in general. Why do we think that's happening?
Mariah's leading the trend, and so naturally you're not just going to listen to All I Want. Well, you know, like me, you're not going to listen to All I Want on repeat or her whole album. So people are going to venture out to different artists and their Christmas efforts. And then we have the labels pushing, like Ari said, to replicate that success, the newer artists doing it. But I also think back to the history of Christmas music in general, you know, we are in unprecedented times, not to sound like every commercial of the last 3 years, but you know, with the pandemic and different world wars happening and people barely affording groceries, you know, it's hard to find, like you said, the persistence of joy in life. And so if we can just have a sliver of that from songs like All I Want, you know, that I feel is why it's kind of overtaking modern music during every November and December, especially because a lot of music now is not necessarily positive, and Christmas is always seen as a time of positivity, even though there are songs like Blue Christmas and breakup songs like that.
I think that also Mariah has replaced, like Dante was saying, they replaced the Santa Claus. But I think Santa Claus remains for the little kids, you know, but Mariah now is for us, the people who have grown up now, and I feel identify with that. So this is our Santa Claus. The little kids can have the actual Santa Claus.
Yeah. And Jesus.
Sorry, yes. It's all about Jesus. But I think what happens, like Dante was saying, we have now more spectrum, I guess, of people that you want to listen to. Like if you want to go the jazzy way, you have the Fantasia. You want to go the old school way, you have, what's the name? Shoot, I forgot the name. John Travolta and what's the name?
Olivia.
Yes, and Olivia. Or Barbara Streisand, Whitney, older music, right? But now I guess more people are understanding that now we can have those top 10 sections that occupied by Christmas music, because this is what we want to feel right now. Family, unity, hungry, because I will be eating a turkey. You know, something that you want to like feel the spirit, and not, because I also feel like people now in November-ish, like the end of November, people don't want to release new music anymore because they know the Christmas time is coming. So Christmas is going to overpower whatever you put out.
Well, some people try to persist regardless, but we'll see how that goes.
She's coming. Take cover.
For me, I know for a fact that if you release music right now, I'm not paying attention to it because I got all the Christmas playlists that I have to get to. I have a playlist called Joy to the Puss. Instead of Joy to the World, we have Joy to the Puss. So
it's a good playlist.
So just go on this. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, you want to listen to that stuff. I don't want to listen to new stuff about booty shaking. No, I'm not interested at this moment in time.
But I think that's why we extend it. Now Christmas is not just December, it's November. For some people, it's November. October. Internationally, like not everybody celebrates Thanksgiving and Halloween. So Christmas is the only thing to look forward to. And why are we reducing it to a month? Now we want to extend it to 2 months.
Right.
Which is beneficial for everybody.
Yeah. I'm working on some music for next year. And even as I work on it, I'm like,
exclusive, get the tea.
Like, oh, get the tea.
Get a
no,
sip.
But I'm like, when I'm working on, yes, come get a sip. Even as I'm working on it, I'm like, I don't want to be like talking about this right now. I don't want to be like, you know, like making music about like whatever, you know, it's going to be about. I'm like, I want to be, you know, listening to holiday music. the holiday season sort of becoming just boxing out everything else and becoming the thing that everybody wants to listen to. Everything else can wait until December 26th or 27th or whenever you stop listening to Christmas music. But like we've said, Mariah obviously leading the charge, continuing to lead the charge. Who are some of the other artists that y'all feel have become staples of your holiday season?
Whitney for me, her Christmas albums for sure. Who else do I know? Who I listen to? Kelly Clarkson.
Yeah.
Like she's very much Christmassy time. And
the Braxtons.
Mariah, the
Oh
Braxtons.
my
Thank
gosh,
you.
the
Thank you.
Braxtons.
I that's my favorite of all time. Like I front to back, no skips, no nothing. The a cappella versions. I just love the Braxton sisters in general. Like Toni, that's my girl.
For me, I've really gotten into 80s and 90s music. I love that era. I really only have like a couple Christmas vinyls that I listen to. I like to listen to Mariah, both of her Christmas albums. And then I obviously like the Michael Bublé. And then as well, I really enjoy a very special Christmas compilation from 1987. It has Whitney, it has Santa Baby Madonna, it has the Pointer Sisters, Santa Claus Coming to Town, it has Bruce Springsteen. So I like listening to that album. And then the other times I really just listen to kind of jazzy R&B Christmas music like Jessie J. I like her album, is really good front to back. The Braxtons, of course. I really enjoy SWV, Wham! Last Christmas. And I've just now been, because like I'm expanding and trying to find new people, I'm now expanding to even older stuff like Tony Bennett and such. But I like the modern stuff. Like I like Kelly, I like Ariana, I like Cher, DJ play a Christmas song.
Another staple.
Anytime somebody, like, because it's such a kind of rite of passage for every pop star, like every year there's always somebody dropping new Christmas music and I will go check it out. But first I'm gonna listen to Mariah. So
right. Yeah. For me, obviously Mariah is the number one forever and always. I also really love the Braxtons. I love their album as a group of sisters. I love Tamar's album. Which is celebrating its 10th anniversary. Tony's album as well. I love Aretha Franklin's Christmas album. The Four Tops, Aretha had a lot of songs on their Christmas album as well. I love Lil' Kim's Christmas song, Big Santa Poppy. I know y'all like to clown on Kim for that one, but I like it. Let's see, who else? Destiny's Child. Love certain songs from their album.
I was gonna say, so we had a conversation, in one of the episodes that we did. Do you think that Beyonce could benefit from a Christmas section, a Christmas album?
Everything Beyonce does is like years of work, years of effort, years of melodies. So it will definitely be a couple kicks down the road if it happens. And it'll definitely be something that involves like an immense amount of effort and intricacy. So I could see her doing it, digging into some of those artists that we've mentioned. Obviously, nothing's going to touch All I Want for Christmas Is You. That's at the head of the table, has its own special throne. But very far down the table, what do you feel are some of the new Christmas songs from the past, like 5, 10, even 15 years that have sort of announced themselves as new staples in the holiday catalog? For me, one of my friends had some years ago introduced me to Underneath the Tree by Kelly Clarkson. I had actually surprisingly never heard it up until like a while after it came out. And I listened to it and it was just like, oh my gosh, she hit the formula and made a song that walks that line of being timeless, but also feels like current and feels fresh. So yeah, what are some of the other ones that you all feel have become staples?
I agree. Like Kelly.
I was gonna say Ariana.
Ariana definitely with Santa Tell Me and Christmas and Chill.
People love Santa Tell Me.
I think like Michael Bublé has taken like the classic Christmas lane. I feel like he has a more broad audience, so they go to him for more the traditional Christmas, but it's still in a modern context. And then I would say like I'm hoping like Brandy, like that album will become a staple as a modern Christmas extravaganza.
Like for Brandy, I really liked their original songs way more than I liked her covers. I just feel like the covers would always overplay it now. But and you're right, I think we need more new Christmas, like new Christmas songs that provide a different story. I'm tired of the same covers. They're staples, that's why you have to do them, but at the same time, can we experiment more? And could potentially traditional like music make it into, for example, like you were saying, Norris, that you want to make music that is, not Christmas related, but could that style that you want to make become Christmas music so that you could be in the spirit and still make the new music?
Yeah.
And like that could be something.
Yeah, and that has sort of become its own lane as well. We've seen artists like Big Frida and Lil Kim for the soundtrack to the movie that she did with Nick Cannon. Hip hop has become, well, obviously it has its roots with like Rum DMC, but hip hop, I feel like it's slowly in progress of making a comeback in terms of like the Christmas canon and becoming something that artists look to do to, express themselves, make plays on words like slaying and like ho 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 and all of that.
You should call your song Moving Like Santa or something. The remix, the Christmas version.
Yeah, I should. That would be funny.
You never know.
You never know. I actually have a Christmas song. It is more in the traditional lane. It's a little cover I did of Angels We Have Heard on High with some new stuff, new-ish stuff added in at some parts. So I'm excited for people to hear that.
I can't wait to hear that.
They got to hear it eventually because Christmas is on the way. I don't want to release it on New Year's. There's so many different ways to make music or Christmas music now. So many different lanes that people can occupy and really bring their own style to it. And that I feel like is like the essence of it. Any artist who makes Christmas music, you want to listen to it and feel like you're getting their specific brand, you're getting their specific spin on it. So with Brandy's, for example, everybody, even before we heard it, was like, obviously it's going to be so many like layered vocals and vocal harmonies and melodies and every type of vocal term. I'm not the biggest Michael Bublé fan. I try to be because, he's everywhere. Every time I go in the store, but people listen, like you said, Dante, for the classic feel for Michael Bublé. Whitney, it's like the vocals. It is a way for artists to really channel their brand through a new avenue. But sometimes, and I definitely don't agree with this, but we have to bring it up. Sometimes people do take the stance that Christmas is becoming too big and that it's becoming too much of a part of certain artists' brand. Obviously, that's a big criticism that Mariah Carey gets, I feel unfairly, for her position within the Christmas canon and just making it such a huge part of her brand and really leaning into it as opposed to leaning out of it. How do you all feel about that take?
I feel like it's an unfair criticism because it's just like a time thing. Like the last question, I could come up with 3 or 4, but I can't come up with 10 people that are doing modern Christmas music well, because even now, Mariah's just getting her flowers for All I Want, like not until 2019, like so much time after. So why not capitalize on that moment? And it's not like her other catalog has become obsolete. Like I feel like people act like she's only relevant at this time of year. That's not true because It's a Rap went viral organically.
Let's talk about it.
Big Energy was a hit. Fantasy's always popping off. A couple things from like
Touch My Body.
Thank you, Touch My Body. That's what I was looking for. So it's not like the other music has taken the back seat. It's just at this time we choose to listen to this.
Right. She's still booking like huge stages. I mean, she was the headliner, one of the headliners at Lovers and Friends this year. She was the headliner at LA Pride. People still very much run to listen to Mariah's catalog. It would be a different story if it were like in 1994 when she released Merry Christmas. She was like, okay, I'm not releasing any more non-Christmas music. Y'all are just going to see me starting on November 1st. Then I would understand, okay, like if we never got like Daydream and Butterfly and Emancipation Mimi, then I might understand it. But it's like, this is an artist who has absolutely nothing left to prove, has done it all time and time again. And why not take advantage of an opportunity to spread joy and bring people happiness for the holidays and also notch all these weeks at #1 in the process? I'm not mad at it at all.
Mariah is just like pop culture. And I just feel like this whole criticism of Christmas getting too big, I personally feel like, and I can't speak for everybody, I think there's some underlying things there that they are just not happy with her being on top.
Right.
And I even experienced it in person. Actually, I was in class and I was just playing like Christmas music, like not even Mariah. And somebody's like, "Why are you playing Christmas music?" And I'm like, "Because it's time. Like we got to be festive." And they were kind of like, "Oh, why should we give Mariah more money?" And I'm like, "I'm not even playing her. Like, where did this come from?" So I feel like there's this growing hatred for no reason because they just can't stand. And the same thing happens to Beyonce and other people like that, where they've been on top for so long, people just can't stand it.
Right.
Even if Mariah does not give us any other albums, which that would be it. Never mind. If she doesn't give us any other albums, like
it's coming.
I'm okay with her doing just Christmas. Like people, too much Christmas. Okay, and what about it? At the end of the day, this is where she feels happy. Like she's
Right.
not being forced to do this. She does this voluntarily.
Right.
So if her
Exactly.
not releasing other music, I would be really, really sad. But at the end of the day, I will know that Christmas will always be there, which now creates more of a exclusivity because she will only like people say that she only comes alive during this time, which creates more demand for you. Tours will be tickets become more expensive, creates like more hype around that artist, which at the end of the day, Mariah doesn't need, but it makes her even more of a stronger artist at the end of the day. Because why can't Mariah continue to be during the rest of the year? Because my opinion is if she releases music right now, we're all going to be tuning in.
Right.
Because she just did Christmas and now she goes into does something else. I'm tuning in, and I think the general public would too.
For sure. So many, and I'm not saying this to cause or create any comparisons, but if you think about, she's been doing this for 30 plus years, or 30 plus minutes, as she would say.
3 months.
Yes, 3 months. And plenty of artists who have been doing it for that long, you don't see them on tour every year. Christmas is a time when people are winding down for the year. And it's the time when she winds up. She's like doing a show every other day until
it's her go time.
Yeah, until it's time to go to Aspen, So she
pretty much.
I think more than critiquing, we really all should just appreciate the efforts that she puts in and that other artists put in to spread joy during this time of year. I know some people are gonna rally against it regardless. There's all the different issues of the public not being comfortable with a woman of a certain number of minutes dominating this far into their career, especially a Black woman, but they're just going to have to be okay with it. I know that people latch on to, other artists, should have their moment at number one. And if they do, it'll come, but it doesn't need to be in competition with or at the expense of Mariah.
I agree with that because I don't think Mariah cares that she's she cares, but at the end of the day, she's not saying this is my time, all you bitches move. I'm only here to reign. No, she's like, if you come along and you want to take a little...
It just happens.
It just happens how it is. And people feel like she's taking control over it. No, I think she doesn't give a shit. She just does it because what it is right now. Why would I not take over? I would do the same thing. And everyone who says, no, I wouldn't capitalize on it. Yes, you would, because that's what you would have to do.
You would do it too for a check.
Exactly. Oh, and she gets a big check.
Right. And she doesn't even she doesn't do much in retrospect. Like, it's not like she's discounting it. It's not like she's releasing a new music video for every year. Like,
or 18 versions.
Yeah, like she's not doing like lyric videos. She's not like doing all the usual industry tactics. Like, it just happened. And I feel like when it first happened in 2019, everybody was like rooting for her because it's like an underdog thing. And then it kept happening, especially consecutively. So now people are just like have this bitterness. And I'm like, well, that's something you need to work on in therapy, baby, because Mariah is going to be number one, whether you like it or not. So
it's just you can be successful, but not too successful.
Exactly.
Because then you're going to be hated on.
You're going to threaten the man. You're going to threaten. And the thing is, like, she's already so far ahead. I mean, if you look at like weeks at number one, for example, on the Hot 100, she has 91 weeks. The closest person behind her is Rihanna, who's more than 30 weeks behind. Let me do my math. Yeah, more than 30 weeks behind her. So it's not even about competition. It's just about like extending her legacy.
Yeah.
She could become the first artist to ever nab 100 weeks at number one. All I Want for Christmas has spent 12 weeks at number one. Her two longest running number ones are We Belong Together, which is 14 weeks, and One Sweet Day, which is 16 weeks. That record was taken from her by Lil Nas X in 2019. But All I Want for Christmas Is You could take it back within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So it really is just her extending a legacy that she has already created for herself. Yeah. So a lot of people just need to get with the program.
Yeah.
It's simple.
Okay. So holiday playlists are a huge part of the season. We all have the collection of artists that we like to listen to. Even with like the billions of people on earth, I don't even know if there's like two people who have the same exact overlap of artists that they like to listen to, songs that they like to listen to, like that exact set that they like to go back to year after year. So if an alien walked onto Earth, an alien superstar, and was like, y'all, I have been seeing all these lights every year around November and December, whatever y'all call that on Earth, Uh, and hearing all these whistle notes and everything. And I just want to know what is going on. And you had to sum up the holiday spirit and the holiday season in 3 songs. What would those songs be?
Like I have 2 in mind. I'm just trying to think of the
The
third.
third one, literally same. I mean, All I Want for Christmas, just because of the impact.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Holy Night,
You
because they need to
yeah.
understand the story. And yeah, who else? That's what I can't get to.
Okay, I think I know.
Who? Tell us.
Okay, so for me, my 3 choices are All I Want, obviously, because she's a legend, she's an icon, she is the moment.
Yes.
And she is the essence of Christmas spirit, in my opinion.
Right.
Number 2 is the also self-penned Jesus Born on This Day. That is personally one of my favorite original Christmas Mariah songs. That's the thing, is that a lot of people think All I Want and Jesus Born on This Day, it was a cover. I thought it was a cover too, but no, it's self-written. And I love it because we don't get a lot of religious classics like that self-penned. So I thought it was something fresh, it was something new. I love the kids. You know, he is joy, he is grace, born on Christmas Day. And number 3, I was gonna do Oh Holy Night. I was gonna pick something from Mariah's second album, but I couldn't decide. So I think I'm just gonna play it safe, and I'm gonna go with Last Christmas by Wham, because I think that's also an excellent song. I love the music video. It's festive. They're at the ski lodge. And I like the strings in that and the different synths, and it also makes me happy. So I guess I'm going off of what sparks joy, like Marie Kondo.
Yeah, so what did I say? I said
All I
Mariah,
Want, A Holy Night.
Holy Night, Married to Janelle by the sisters, Braxton sisters. I'm going for one I listened to. Like or Hark the Herald. Oh yes, Hark the Herald, because Harold. Hark the Herald, because I love that song. I don't know what it is. I think it's the choir. Anyone who sings it, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
What about you, Norris?
It's rough. It's tough to just narrow it down to 3. But definitely first, of course, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Not even a question. Second, I would say Whitney Houston, Joy to the World. I feel like that just captures all of the churchiness of the holiday, but also just all of the different elements of Whitney's voice. We have like the extremely powerful high notes, and runs and riffs and everything. We have like the delicate intro, sort of the beautiful grace of her vocals.
Yeah.
When she's singing that like softer, like what was that song? I Love the Lord type vibe, or Who Would Imagine a King?
Yes.
I love that song. I'm like,
Noel, First Noel. Noel.
Deck the Hall,
Noel.
Silent Night. I
love
love that mashup. Ooh, okay. And then the third one, I would say, there's so many to choose from. I want to say Santa Claus Is Coming to Town by the Jackson 5.
Rocking around.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes. I like that one when it's not right on All I Want for Christmas Is You's neck.
Exactly.
But yeah, love that song. But I'm gonna say Give Love on Christmas Day by the Jackson 5. I feel like I gotta put a slower song in there.
Yeah.
Now if I wanted to do another Mariah song, which I was leaning towards, I would do Christmas Time Is in the Air Again.
That's what I was leaning towards.
Yeah, that song is just, that was the song where I had I thought this was a cover moment. Because it feels like a song straight out of the 50s. You know, it's so smooth, it's so subtle in its approach, and it's just, I love that song. I can't talk about that song enough. Like that song is just so beautiful.
Even like I was just thinking about it. Nat King's Cole, the Christmas song. We gotta have the King of Christmas.
Yes, we gotta have that.
I might have to amend my answer a little bit.
Yeah, honestly, I might have to change mine as well to put that in there. I also love so many versions of This Christmas, starting with Donny Hathaway, the originator.
Yes.
Also the Braxton's version, not the main version they did, but like the Braxton spin one that they did. Love that one. Oh, there's too many. I feel like we're leaving.
There's so many ways you could take it.
Asia.
There really are. Oh yes.
Even you know what? I'd give the aliens the vocal holy trinity. We do Mariah, All I Want, or Joy to the World. We do Celine, The Prayer with Andrea Bocelli, and then Whitney's Joy to the World.
There you
go. Okay. I want to do a little rapid fire round. It's going to be one or the other, and I'm going to ask you which one you would choose and a quick statement why. So first up, we're going to do Mariah Carey Christmas albums. Merry Christmas or Merry Christmas to You?
No, why would you do this?
And I will not be answering.
I know the answer. I would do the first one, Merry Christmas.
Mhm.
It's my go-to. I don't have as much of a connection as he does with the two. Go ahead. You answer.
I'm gonna say, surprisingly, I'm gonna say the original. It's iconic.
Oh, okay.
Because lately I've been really getting into the second one. Because
Mhm.
to quote another Mariah podcast, the Obsessed podcast, Gia Paro, she said, and I'll never forget this. She said the original Christmas, Merry Christmas is the church service. Merry Christmas to you is like the Christmas party you go to after. And I
Mm.
love that mindset. But for in terms of iconicity and pop culture, we go
Yeah.
with the original.
Okay. Yeah, I would actually, I feel like I can advocate here for the second one. I tend to lean towards it, but then I'm like, oh, but Jesus born on this day and heart is trying to pull me back.
Yeah.
Something keeps pulling me back. Yeah, that second one, I feel like one, the fact that it has 4 originals instead of
Yeah.
3. I love
Yeah.
that extra one with one child. I feel like
Yes.
it
Born
also
as a King.
yes, exactly. I feel like for me it's sort of to touch upon that analogy that you brought up from the Obsessed podcast. I feel like Merry Christmas is like the daytime one, like the one I want to
Yeah.
listen to while I'm shopping or
Mhm.
while I'm like cooking. And then like when it's like nighttime and I'm like, cleaning the kitchen or like just like chilling out, that's when I want to go to Merry Christmas to You. And I guess since I'm sort of like semi-nocturnal, my bedtime is so late. It's like baby
4.
doll hours, like crybaby hours. Um, I lean towards the second one. Next up, Joy to the World, Whitney's version or Mariah's version?
Oh, you really want to start a fight here? Now I need to make the
Jesus.
distinction. Can I do the live version as St. John the Divine?
Yes.
Then I'm gonna have to go with that. Because I
Okay.
just love, because again, you get the original and then you get the little gospel flair.
They
And
feel that joy.
for those
Feel that
reasons,
joy.
I'm out.
Okay,
love
Shark
Whitney.
Tank.
Whitney just brings me
I know.
home, centers you. And Mariah does
Mm.
too. Ooh, that was tough. That's tough. I want
Yeah.
both.
Okay, next up, Battle of the Modern Christmas Classics,
Ooh.
Santa Tell Me or Underneath the Tree?
Oh Lord.
Jesus Christ.
I'm gonna say Santa Tell Me for the nostalgia. I remember when the music video came
Yeah,
out.
I
Like
was gonna say too.
everybody was trying, like it, I don't know, it gives me so much nostalgia. It just had to be there. Like
Mm.
the ponytail, the comparisons to Mariah, the knee-high socks, the Victoria's Secret pink like sweatshirts, like you had to be there. You had to be
It
there.
is true. But like underneath is kind of also a classic. Like you can't.
I know, but I like it like
It's
sped up, not like original
yeah.
pace.
Oh, the sped up one is
Oh,
really good. The sped up
I
one
like
is
to
really
spend
good.
up. Yeah,
Yeah, I
Like
like
that
sped up
reminds me of like
anything.
TikTok.
Mm,
true. It is true.
okay.
Okay, then we'll do Ariana.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say Underneath the Tree. Just for me personally, Santa Tell Me came out at an inconvenient time. I was fighting for my life
Oh
between
no.
like American Idol and
That's
all of
true.
my
That's
friends being
true.
Barbs. And then with all like the comparisons, every time I would play All on Christmas Eve, my friends would be like, no, turn on Santa Tell Me. So that was a rough time. So I'm just starting to now appreciate Santa Tell Me. So I'm gonna say Underneath the Tree, but maybe in the future it'll be Santa Tell Me.
I wasn't there on the front lines. I'm sorry.
I was on the front lines battling, but we made it through. Next up, Home Alone, classic Christmas movie franchise. The first one or the second one? Or the irrelevant fourth one that, nobody talks about.
Oh, we don't claim those. We only claim the first two.
Yeah,
The
no, she was
original
cute.
one,
She
of
was cute.
course.
The third one was good too,
Sure.
but
As much as I love New York,
mhm.
Tiffany Pollard, I have to go with the first one
Me
just for the
too.
classics of it all.
Just because
Mm.
that's the first one I saw. The only one I see. But no, I like last year, I think was the first time I watched it. And it was one of my favorites. I really did. I enjoyed it very much. What's her name?
But they're
The,
both
the
like
girl from
comfort
Schitt's Creek.
watches.
The girl from what?
The girl from
The mother.
Schitt's Creek. What's her name?
Oh,
Uh,
Catherine O'Hara.
Thank
Love
you.
her.
Yeah.
Sir.
And what's his name from Succession? I don't watch Succession, but one of the brothers was
I
the
don't
one
know.
who wet the bed.
Oh, that one? Really?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yes. It's his brother, Kieran Culkin.
Yes.
Him.
Okay. Well, I feel like I'm like the contrarian.
But I
would
like
say
it.
But I like it. Yeah.
I would say the second one just because I feel like everything was sort of toned up. The older figure who helps out, she played a bigger role, I felt, in this one. The wet bandits, whatever was set up for them was just like 10 times worse than the first film. Whatever the one was with like the poofy hair, even just getting into the house, he like went through hell just to get inside. So I feel like for that reason, just watching them like destroy themselves in the second one was so funny. Okay, I got a couple more. Next up, if we're thinking about holiday lights, would you rather go with white lights or color lights?
I'm just thinking about that Stephen Colbert interview.
I know. I was thinking about it as I asked.
I'm so indecisive. That's a problem. I'm so indecisive that in my tree I have both. Like it switches between white lights and colored.
I gotta say both. I mean,
yeah, I need both.
They're for different purposes. Like I feel like
exactly
the warm ones are like for like the nice tree or like outside the house, and then the multicolored is like for the tree in your room or like around your bed or like at school, like those kind of events.
Got it. All right. Fall in Love at Christmas, the latest addition to Mariah's catalog of Christmas originals. Which part of the song is your favorite? The body of the song or the outro?
I have to say, I really like the body because as much as I love a gospel outro, I really like the kind of flamenco flavor to it and the way Khalid's voice really complements Mariah's. It's very sultry and sensual, and I like it.
Same thing. I did like his integration to it because you're right. Like he sounds more complimentary to Mariah. He's also has like that kind of
it's like velvety.
Like softer tone to him. So I really like that.
I'm gonna say the outro. I really love just gospel Christmas music, and I wish it was longer. I also love the remixes, but I feel like it just made me want a whole gospel album from her. I feel like she's sort of given us little sprinkles over the past couple of years between that and then Going Up Yonder in her memoir. So I'm just ready for a full gospel album from Mariah. But yeah, I love the outro. All right, Battle of the Girl Groups between Destiny's Child and TLC. TLC Sleigh Ride or Destiny's Child 8 Days of Christmas?
No, why are you doing this to me?
I will do Destiny's Child, sorry.
No, this is hard for me.
It goes hard for TLC.
I think I'm gonna say TLC. Oh, I know the KNTY watchers are dropping as we speak. But I just feel like 8 Days of Christmas, there's a couple things for me, like my favorite parts are like the intro, where Kelly Michelle like, and they go into it. And like doesn't it feel like Christmas? Whereas like overall, I like Sleigh Ride as a song overall. And it's more like traditional. It's more, I don't know. That's how I feel.
I can respect that. I am going to go with Ari here and say 8 Days of Christmas. I love Sleigh Ride, but I don't know. I'm sort of like a traditionalist when it comes to like the melody of like classic songs. And so when it gets to the like, just hear those sleigh bells ringing,
True.
Like, okay, let's go back to the just hear that, let's go back to that. Yeah, with 8 Days of Christmas, I just feel like it sort of captures like that early 2000s Destiny's Child essence of just the flair and like the glam and the flyness just mixed in with like that Christmas consumerism and all of that. I feel like it just brings it all together really nicely. Okay, couple more. This is going to be a tough battle for one of them because we have spent the whole time talking about the other one. But between All I Want for Christmas Is You and Oh Santa.
The remix or the solo?
Let's say Oh Santa with Ariana and Jennifer.
I'm sorry, but you don't compete where you don't compare.
I'm gonna go with All I Want.
All I Want for Christmas.
Okay, we're all in agreement.
Across the board.
You can't compare it. You can't.
Okay, and for the last one, if you had to pick any song in Mariah's Christmas catalog and give it the success of All I Want for Christmas Is You, which one would that be?
Oh Santa remix. I think that needs to be the next thing that takes off. I'm hoping that's going to be the next thing. I was really delusional. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, this is going to be a #1 debut.
Me too. I was making videos on TikTok. I was like, here y'all. No, but like, how we going to get it to #1.
No, but
when I saw 70 something, I almost cried.
I really thought the general public was going to go up for it. I was like, this is literally going to be a #1 because Ariana was.
It had the potential to be #1.
It
was just coming off of Thank You Next and J Hud and obviously the Christmas special, and I really thought it was going to be at least top 10. But I just think all these Christmas songs, they take their sweet time. It's going to take time.
It's going to take time. It'll get there. I think it probably could have debuted higher if Spotify had put it on Ariana's page. That was right around Positions. Like it was the perfect time, and then it was like not there at all. So it was unfortunate.
Corporate Morgue, darling, the Corporate Morgue.
I was gonna say Oh Holy Night, but that's boring because everybody does that. But Mariah's version is because I like how it has low, higher, and it goes even higher with the whistle note. So that's what I think.
Okay, and then the very last one, if you could only listen to either upbeat Christmas songs or the slow jams, you had to get rid of all of the other ones, which would you choose?
Gonna go with fast. I'm gonna
I
go
go
fast.
slow.
Mm.
I'm a very slow. I take time. I like to listen. I'm very mellow, softer ballads.
But
That's me.
it's not festive though.
I know, but it is though, because you're sitting, you're chilling by the fire or something, and you just want to listen to something softer. You want to listen to
True,
upbeat
true.
songs. Upbeat, you listen at a party, walking, somewhere. Slow is when you're comfortable sitting at home chilling, which is mostly what I do anyways.
I'm having a tough time with this. I'm either going to take the slow songs and just make all the fast ones acoustic ones, or I'm going to take the fast ones and we're going to speed those slow songs up and they're all going to be TikTokified. All right. So that is all we have for today. Before we sign off, though, I like to give guests an opportunity to plug anything they have coming up, promote anything they have coming up. If you have any music or podcast, hello, or going on tour, or getting married, anything you want to announce to the world.
Not getting married.
That's not happening anytime.
Me neither.
I will say, well, we have season 2 of Pen Pop is in the works.
Yes.
For winter Renaissance, we're scheduled for winter. I'm not going to say when.
Okay.
Just in case we don't make it.
I'm going to shoot myself in the foot.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that. And you can find it on your favorite podcast app. And you can also check out my content at Dante DiDomenico _
Yes. Check out Dante's content. So many amazing series. I mean,
Thank
she
you.
had one chant. You probably heard them sprinkled throughout the episode. She had one chant. Canty Y, Project Iconic.
Canty Y.
Yes. So many of
all
them.
That. So we might have something Canty Y related once again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, just Pen Pop is coming soon, so be on the lookout for that. But thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming.
So much fun.
So much fun. Love chatting with y'all about all things holiday music. I believe all 3 of us have holiday playlists, right?
Yes, we do.
Yes, so check out all of our holiday playlists. What was the one? Joy to the... Yes. Check out all of our holiday playlists. I have a whole bunch there linked in if you go to my Linktree or Come Get a Sip's Linktree. Yes, click. There's Black Christmas playlist. There's Smooth Christmas.
I love that one.
Which one?
Black Christmas.
Oh yes, that's the 28-hour one. I'm gonna add some more.
28 hours.
30 hours.
I haven't made it through 20, but
Smooth Christmas, Upbeat Christmas, Gospel Christmas, Classic Christmas, Instrumental Christmas, Quiet Storm, all of it. So check that out. Also check out my new single, Angels We Have Heard on High. Yes. Coming let me not say that. It's supposed to be coming out next Friday, but just in case it doesn't, coming soon to all streaming platforms. Obviously the Christmas deadline is approaching. So
yes, it is.
Y'all will have about 2 days to listen to it. But be sure to check that out. Check out all of our content. Check out everything. Check out Pen Pop. And yes, Dante and Ari, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
It has been wonderful. And yeah, everybody have a great day. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Holidays. And keep on streaming All I Want for Christmas is You.
Absolutely.